What the hell was Trump thinking writing that letter about Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson? I think it was a PSYOP. I think he was trying to get people who were not interested in going to them and listening to them. He was trying to drive traffic for them. He's working with them, not against them. Even though they don't know it yet, Trump is a strategic thinker. We are currently at war with China. That's why we went into Venezuela and took the oil, took the country, and prevented them from working with China and Russia. We blockaded Cuba for the same reason. Then, I'm not justifying war. I mean, I think all war is bad, and I am a Christian, and I think there are other ways to handle it. But I've also played a lot of video games and have conquered the world hundreds of times on Rise of Nations. So lost thousands more. But I like playing at the high level, and I think it educated me on what's going on militarily. And even Syria was, or where the Russians have a warm water port. I think we're friendlier with the Russians to go against the Chinese, and that this whole move with the war in Iran was just like we tested out the weapons, we being the US, in Ukraine against Russia, and now the Chinese and Russians are testing their weapons through Iran against us. The game never ends. Controlling the oil is key, and one of the things that happened is that oil stopped transporting through the Strait of Hormuz as much as because the price of the insurance went up. Lloyd's of London went to like $3 to $5 million per tanker, and no one would go through there besides, risking the lives of the crew. So the US then stepped in with the International Development Finance Corporation. They call it the FDC or the IDFC, and they're going to insure the ships. They're going to collect a fee for ships going through there. And that's one of the things that President Trump talked about. Therefore, I look at the war, although it's unfortunate, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons or any of that crap. It has to do with oil. It has to do with the war with China, because our countries really are at war all the time. And if President Trump is America first, he's going to want to be able to defeat the Chinese, who are shoving fentanyl into our country like crazy and killing Americans, kind of like we did with the opium wars with the British years ago. So, like I said, countries are always at war with each other. I'm a big Candace fan, and I do believe Christ is king. But I do also understand geopolitics, and I believe that President Trump is not just a puppet of Israel, even though it seems and sounds a little like that right now. But we have $30 trillion economy. They have less than a $500 billion economy. It's very high tech, and they may be blackmailing people. They may be blackmailing people in America, just like we do, just like the Chinese are doing here in America. Foreign governments have an interest in controlling our politicians, our elite, our corporations. And I don't want to say it's a dangerous world. I wish it was just a nicer world where everyone was Christians and we could get along. But I'm a Jewish guy who became a Christian in 2003, so I think I'm a little more aware of geopolitics. And even though I'd like the world to be different, I think that it is the way it is, and we have to deal with that. So that's why I made this little thumbnail with all those people. I think it's a PSYOP. I think President Trump, Candace seems pissed that he said that stuff about her, but I think he's actually driving more traffic to her. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I thought I'd share, as long as everyone else has an opinion on that crazy tweet or truth that President Trump put out. So anyways, I'm going to get back to cannabis, and I'll talk about how cannabis can end the war.